All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Geopolitical Trends, where truth matters. Very, very excited to be with you on the last day of January 31st here. I got an interesting topic I need to talk to you about because there's a lot of stuff going on in Europe. This is just one aspect I'm going to talk about here. And on our next platform, I'm going to be talking about exactly what's going on in France and Germany. I have families who lives in both countries, so I'm a very sort of aware of what's going on that the media it's keeping very low profile on. There are some articles out there, but they are not detailing exactly what this is all about. So this is what I intend to share with you today. Let me see who is here and say hi to our community. Franny, you're the first one here. So good to see you, Franny, as always. Stefan Rosic, good to see you. Riz Nika, good to see you, as always. Let me make S. What was that all about? Did somebody piss you off? What's going on, Mick? Willie, good to see you. Locio Delgado, good to see you. As always, John Smithens, good to see you. Chanel, good to see you. Francis Tango, as always. Macian Dorcier, good to see you. Wong KC, good to see you. R Stars, Athene Wu, as always. Tekno Kanga, good to see you guys. Very, very excited to have you here. So here is the topic that I'm going to be talking about today. Then I'll provide you some insights. Then I'm going to go to the other location. Here is the link for you. I'm going to share it on the screen. Then I'm going to post it on the chat box for you. Army with Harmony, good to see you as always. Here is the link where I'm going to be in about probably about 40 minutes from now. So we always go around 1 o'clock or so. So that's where I'm going to be. And let me put it in a chat box for you guys. So this will be easier also for you. And please make sure to share it with others. I will greatly appreciate it. All right, here is the link on the chat box for you guys. And we'll convene later on after I'll talk about this. King Joe, good to see you from California. Larry Mabutas, good to see you also. Ahmed Mohammed, good to see you. Azwan Azmi, good to see you. Very, very excited to have you guys. It's our community. That's what I always get excited about. And I do mean it when I say this. It's because here's the thing. Last night, I didn't sleep. I was up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I was thinking a lot. What I was thinking about. What was going on with this Buy Me Coffee? This is why, guys, I want you to hold any donation for now till I sort out this issue. I don't trust these entities. So far, I didn't have an issue with the other one, with the other account for the channel. This one specifically for the Asia trip. And they are saying, well, we're still looking to approve the account, whatever. Well, why are you taking the donations for? So you could tell me, no, the account has not been approved yet. We're not going to be hosting the donations. So this is why, guys, I want you to stop the donations for now. Just hold it till I give you the green light. Once I figure it out, I communicated with them, and I will share this with you when we get to the other location. So anyway, today's topic. This, by the way, was leaked information that the EU is working behind closed doors to undermine or sanction one of its members. Makes you just wonder how corrupted the entity is. This is also a sign of fragmentation within the institution. This is also, to me, as a geopolitical analyst, I read it in terms of, are they like being sort of concerned as to where BRICS is headed? Because sooner or later, BRICS is going to overtake the EU. Not anytime soon. Let me just make that clear. The EU's economy is quite substantial. BRICS still has a long way to go. But it's just a matter of time. That was the same arguments I've heard about 30 years ago. Oh, it's going to take another century for China to compete with the US. Here we are. China is overtaking the American economy soon. I'll give it about another 5 years We already know where China is. It's the same arguments can be made. And now what the EU wants to do is target Hungary. Why? Because Hungary took a stand. They took a stand. They said, we don't want to just allocate our part of our funding for Ukraine. Do you blame them for that? So now they're forcing them. The EU wants to force. It's almost like blackmailing Hungary. The same thing they did with them regarding immigration. Well, Hungarian didn't want immigrants. Look what's going on for us here. So, which is a conversation for another day. So here's some questions we need to consider before we get into the conversation, guys. And it's worth considering. So here's the question. Is time for Hungary to consider ditching the EU altogether? Because what are they getting for it? You know. And again, I'm not a Hungarian. I used to have a Hungarian classmate, and I used to know some people there. But literally, what are they getting for it? So is it time for them for Budapest to just say, you know what, we're done with you, and they go their separate ways? Second question is, how relevant is EU in today's geopolitical in today's global landscape? What is the EU stands for anyway? So it's a worth question. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, I have family who lives in Europe, so I just spoke to one of them yesterday in Netherlands, in Holland, and it kind of like what is becoming of Europe, let alone what we in the United States doing to Europe intentionally. So, and third, the question is, what are the economic and political implications of such decision? Could this pave the way for other EU members to say, well, wait a minute, if you did this to Hungary today, you're going to do it to me tomorrow. So I'm done. Let alone whether those countries will have the gut to do it or not. This is the same thing Europeans have been sort of talking too much. We need to have our own security. We need to have our own this, our own that. And yet they couldn't. They found that the US is having them under its thumb. We dictate the term. Can you see the German chancellor taking stand? The guy is like with noodles. He can't even stand straight as far as his political views. That's what I meant. Not to criticize him as a human being. Two separate things, guys. So this is, to me, one of those basic questions that we ought to think about in terms of where this is headed. And this is what prompted me to really consider taking on this topic and just highlight a few things, because it is connected to also what's taking place in Europe, which I will talk about in detail on the other platforms. So, all right, let's do our tour around the world just to see what's going on. Well, the first thing that comes to mind, which I just posted for you guys in the community, that the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, has been sentenced with his wife for 14 years. It's unjust. This is not justice. Shame on Islamabad's government. They are as corrupted as it can be. And shame on them for saying we are good Muslims. That's a bull. Any who claim that, oh, I am a good Muslim and all that, as far as governments, look what they're doing. And his crime, Imran Khan's crime, just he said no to US drone bases. Look what they're doing. It's not right. It's not right for what my country is doing. This is not justice. This is not fairness. This is not the rule of law. We can't be doing this. You just can't. You just can't go in life like this. It's not right. And the government in Islamabad is as corrupted. I used to go to close to that part of the world, so I'm very familiar how Islamabad government works with the ISI, with all their entities. So we used to deal with them. We used to give them millions and millions of dollars to turn a blind eye on certain things. So shame. I'll say shame. So. All right, here's some stories, other stories. Now, some I'm not going to comment much. I will just share the picture. Then I will detail. Let me see this one. Let me see what's, yeah, this one, it might be okay. Now, here's the thing. the head accountant for this individual there, which we all know who is, right? Now he is resigning, the accountant. Why? He's resigning because the guy on the picture asking for renovation of his swimming pool. Yeah, there are some things very, 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 what's the word? So, not controversial, flamed, if I may use the term, very. And so I'm going to save it for when we go to the other locations now. Next one has to do with this country. Now, this country is Afghanistan. So, and what's going on with Afghanistan? I spent a lot of time there, believe it or not. The country is going in a different direction, far better than what it was. As a matter of fact, far better for the last 45 years, when so many major powers tried to take over. And it won't happen, because if you know anything about a history of Afghanistan, maybe one day we'll do a video on it. If you know anything about the history throughout all the great powers, when I say great powers, I'm not talking about the contemporary. I'm talking even from way back. I mean, even Alexander the Great couldn't do it back then. They call it the graveyard of empires for a reason. So this is why this the government over there, without mentioning the T word, they are sort of inspiring now for a different message. Yeah. And what's important is that we spent 20 years, and what did we gain from it? Nothing. So I'll detail a little bit on this one here. This third one here, this is HZ, okay? But it's not the HZ in Lebanon. There is another HZ in Iraq. Yeah, don't be surprised. No. So I'll detail a few things when we get to the other side. All the headlines that I came across. This is guy. If you guys, any of you reads Arabic, you can read his name is Muhammad Nasser Al-Atifi. That's a high-ranking HI, and very, very, very. You can just see the look on his face. You ain't gonna intimidate somebody like that. And basically, what it's saying is that they are confirming that they are ready for a long confrontation with the U.S. and Britain. Straightforward. That tells me a lot. So, speaking of that part of the world, as in general in Muslims, I just find out last night that the National Council of Muslims in Canada, canceled its meeting with the Prime Minister Dictator Trudeau. I don't know why. Because the dictator Trudeau's support for Israel in the war in Gaza. So they decided, why should we meet with you? And as a matter of fact, I've been talking to some Canadians, believe it or not, they just fed up with this government, their government. So the liberal ones, that is. And the last one I'll share with you, which I won't detail here, but here is the, I don't know. I need you caption this picture, guys, because here is what she's saying. It's not a laughing matter. As we grow older, we all could fall into that. Look at our president and his mental state. She's no different. So what she's saying is that basically those who do not support the entity in Gaza, the rejectionists, those are being affiliated with Putin. It's laughable, but it's also, what's the word I'm looking for? It's sad to see the state of mind of somebody like that, where it is, and which is a reflection of where the country is thinking. Not all of us, of course, not all of us Americans. So I intend to detail a little bit more about this one here as I move to the other locations. All right, let's get into our conversation about what's going on with this country. Hungary. So as of yesterday, no, not yesterday, on Monday, Budapest, the capital of Hungary, when I say Budapest, I'm referring to the government, has accused now the European Union of blackmailing them. Yeah. Why? Because Hungary said, we don't support the $50 billion donation or aid, whatever term you want to use, to the Ukrainian government. Why? Because they know it's going to be just going to corrupted individuals there, and the Ukrainian people are not going to see a dime of that, and the money is not going to be used for anything inside Ukraine. That's why I've always been saying Ukraine is a failed state. So now they want to blackmail him for that. Meaning what? Meaning that they want to hold, the European Union want to hold the allocated funds for Hungary as part of the European Union. So the 50 billion euros or 54 US dollars to financial aid to Ukraine, he's saying no, because my country comes first. And this is not going to benefit my country. So you admire the guy for taking stand for his own country. He's looking out for the welfare of his people. So all of a sudden the EU, but we all know where the EU is headed, especially by none other than, what's her name? I call her the clown liar, Ursula. That's it. And I'll share something with you when I get to the other location there. But let's do a little bit of geography, a little bit of history about Hungary. A lot of people do not know the old history of Hungary. Hungary was a major player and power in Eastern Europe back then. So I'm going to share with you briefly here the geography of Hungary. Then we'll move into its history is so long. Yesterday, when I was looking at it, I said, there is no way I'll have time to share all this with you, but I give just some snippets of exactly what you need to know. So here's the map for Hungary. And I'll share a few things with you about it. Okay, why it's not showing up? Remove. All right, let me add it. Present. Stop sharing. Okay, let me share screen once again. Sometimes it just doesn't. I'm assuming it's just technical, which most likely is, but maybe. Okay, why it's not showing up here? Stop screen. Okay, we stopped screen altogether. Let me try it again. That's weird. But again, nothing is weird in this time, guys. We all know how things are. Yeah, it's not letting me. For whatever reason. Let me see here. Okay, well, it's hold on a second. Let me hide this one. And remove this. Stop sharing. We'll do it one more time. Okay, select, share. There we go. Finally. Or maybe just me. You know, I'm not a tech savvy. I know the basics. I'll be honest about it. So anyway, here's the full screen, guys. And I just, as I said earlier, I just wanted to share a few things with you regarding Hungary, just for you to know. So Hungary, of course, you know where it's located. It is in Central European nation, and it is a landlocked country. You can see why they were hesitating first to support the sanctions against Russia. It's because the gas, they depend a lot on Russian gas and proximity, because it's landlocked also. So it's situated in the Carpathian Basin. It is geographically positioned both in the northern and eastern hemisphere of the earth. It is bordered by 7 countries. You have Slovakia in the north, Ukraine in the northeast, Romania in the east, Serbia and Croatia in the south, Slovenia in the southwest, and Austria in the west. And you all know the moment I mentioned Australia, what comes to mind, guys? Let me just see your knowledge of history a little bit. What comes to mind the moment I mentioned Austria? Remember, within the context of Hungary. Yeah, just type in a chat box. Let me see if you guys can follow me in that. Because it was very substantial throughout the history. Not that one to a degree, Muslim revert, but there is something else. There was something else. The moment I meant empire, which one? Which one, Hamad Sidi? No, you got it right, Hamad Sidi. Which one I'm talking about? You got it, Muslim revert. The Austro, it's right here, let me share it here. The Austro-Hungarian empire or kingdom, whatever you want to call it. So, because it has a major impact in the world political landscape in Europe, and we all know, of course, with the world wars and so forth, there's a lot of history goes into this, especially for the Austrian and Hungarian empire or kingdom, whatever term you want to use. Let's get into a little bit of history here. And for history, I'm gonna try to find out where I could find something very worth. The images will give you an idea as to. Yeah, I'm gonna share. Well, let me keep this one here for now, and I'll share the other pictures because there are so many, and I have to organize them accordingly, so you won't get over or confused or so many of this picture. So for now, let's just keep this one here for now, and I'll mention brief history. Well, the brief history is going to have to go back to the Iron Age, and I'm only starting there. I'm not going before that. Iron Age, because the Iron Age during this era for Hungary, it was located at a crossroads between the cultural spheres of Scythian tribes, which is and the Celtic tribe or the Celtic tribe. You know, some pronounce it Celtic, some pronounce it Celtic. So it depends, again, whatever term you use. So then there are also the Dalmatian tribes, you know, all those, and of course the Germanic tribes, you know, and all this during the era of 44 BC. The Sarmatian moved into the Great Hungarian Plains. And in 8 AD, the western part of the territory, the so-called Transdanubia, that's how it was known. And I looked into this in 2 different sources, and they confirmed that the information that for this one which is modern Hungary, formed part of Pannonia. Now, Pannonia was a province of the Roman Empire, because here's the thing: when the Roman Empire or control collapsed within the Hunnic invasions in between 370 and 410, so the Huns or the Huns, depends again how you pronounce it, Huns, the Huns created a significant empire based in present-day Hungary. In 453, they reached the height of their expansion under Attila the Hun, and after the death of Attila, the empire collapsed in 455, and Pannonia became part of the Ostrogothic kingdom. The western part of the Carpathian Basin was occupied by the Longboard and the eastern part of the Kipids. You fast forward to the establishment of the Kingdom of Hungary. The Kingdom of Hungary sort of came into existence in Central Europe with none other than Stephen I. Now, the Grand Prince of the Hungarians was crowned king in 1000 or 1001. The historical record couldn't confirm the exact year, so they put both 1000 or 1001. But what happened with him when he took over, the Grand Prince? He reinforced central authority and emphasized the central authority, that is, and forced his subjects to accept Christianity. This is what happened back then. So you move forward through what happened to when the monarchy stabilized in between 1095 and 1116. So the rulers occupied Croatia and Dalmatia with the support of part of the local population. Fast forward to the of course, one thing I need to mention to you, this area was known also, it was uncultivated lands, which they had silver, they had gold, and they had salt deposits. So Hungary became preferred destination of mainly German, Italians, and French colonists. And those immigrants were mostly peasants who settled in the villages and so forth. So here is what I wanted to, let me stop this one here and share. This one is very, very important to see. The images will tell you a lot. And I will post the link for you if you want to read. I will highly recommend, if you have time, you can read up on this history should you be interested, because it's very, very fascinating. And this will go back. So I'm going to scroll down. This is about the history of it. And he has a detailed narrative of each era and so forth. So you look at now, this is about 3000 BCE. That's how far back it goes. Here's another image of it. So you move to 3600 BC. This is how, remember when I mentioned to you about the gold, the silver, and so forth, because there was some agricultural part. This one you move to 700 BCE. Okay, you move forward to 500 BCE. This is an image of how the evolvements of, this is what I'm saying, guys. This will be worth your time reading, because it will help you really have a better understanding of the evolvements of the Hungarian entity. So fast forward to 370 BC. So, and you can see the modernization of their weaponry. So with the spears and so forth. Fast forward to 20th. This is 271. And this is the Roman legions in the battle in the Dacian Wars. Very, very interesting aspect. 375. This is the Hun, or the Hun, depends how you pronounce it. Empire was a multi-ethnic confederation of steppe tribes. That means there were so many tribes congregated or unified together. This is what I'm saying, guys. It's really worth reading if you get a chance to do it. The Han and Gothic warriors. This is back to 453. And this is the last one, I believe. No, we still have some here. 530. This is Agilov, the king of Lombards. This is his image. And what does he remind you of his outfit? Which entity in the Nordic states, I'll give you a hint. Which entity in the Nordic states have almost similar setting like this? Can you guys guess? Let me see in the chat box if you guys can put that in. Vikings, you got it. You got it, the Vikings. So you can just see the idea of really the expansion of the region altogether. And this, to me, that signifies the compatibility between where Hungary used to be and some Nordic, like the Vikings, and how it's all started. So I find it very interesting through their outfits and so forth. So this is during the Lombards. Now you fast forward to, this is the Avar and Bulgar warrior in Eastern Europe in the 8th century CE. Once again, what this uniform here on the guy on the left tells you of, you can guess the idea of how the Roman Empire how the Roman fighters used to dress as well. Fast forward to now the Avar clash with the Carolingian Frank early 9th century. All this, it's a reflection of how many entities have ruled Hungary back then. This is the Hungarian conquest of the Carpathian Basin. Yeah, that was the major battle that took place back then. And I think I have two other ones here. This is the 13th century. We're moving forward. This is the Century Knights, the Kingdom of Hungary. That's where the establishment started. Once again, look at the dress of those guys and look how the Roman back then used to dress. This is completely different in the comparison to what we saw earlier as far as the comparison to the Vikings. So you can just see the emergence or the development of how they became. So, of course, once Christianity, this is during the Mongols. Yeah, the Mongols defeated the Christians, and you can tell just by their the cross. So this is why it's important for you guys to truly, and I'll post the link for you to read up on it if you feel like it. And this is the Belva the 6th, I believe, or the 4th, one of, I couldn't remember, of Hungary. And that's where the establishment of where things were moving forward till it paved the way to the Austrian Hungary. This is Agnes McBride. This the image for Agnes. I give credit to Agnes for this one here. And one more, I believe. Yeah, I don't have any descriptions of these images here, so I'm not going to speculate on this stuff here. Consolidation. This is when I think the beginning of the Austro-Hungarian kingdom start to emerge. So I will put the link for you guys to, if you want to take a look at it later on. So let's get into a brief analysis here as to really what is going on with Europe that is now blackmailing Hungary. Well, as I said, because remember, the European Union didn't disclose this. It was leaked. So preparing without the knowledge of Hungarian, which to me, undermining one of its own members. And if you do that, what does it mean? That means the cohesiveness within an entity is so fragmented. And that's to me what is reflecting about where the EU state of affairs is today. Given the chaotic, you look at it, Germany, you look at France, you look at Britain, even though Britain is not part of the EU, they left already. Maybe some say it was a good idea, some say no. I don't care. I don't care what the UK government does. I care for the UK people, because I know the UK government also is as corrupted as any, so, or weak for that matter. So, but when you look at Germany, when you look at France, when you look at Italy, and now you look at those, because those are the key players in the EU. All other countries, and I'll say it because it's, to me, that's how I see it. All the other countries won't matter. They are there just to hold the space. Yeah, straightforward. It's because, this is what I'm saying, I'm asking the question. Is it time for Hungary to say, we're done with you? You ditch them. You ditch the EU. Yeah, you're going to struggle at the beginning, because here is what the EU now wants to do. They want to undermine the economy of Hungary. That is what the aim is at. So why would you want to do that? Because you want to pressure the Hungarian government to give in. Because if you create tensions for the country, that economic one, that is, that's going to become a very, very, very problematic. And this is why I believe Viktor Orban has a major decision to make. Because I can see the game the European Union is playing. They want to sink in the Hungarian economy. That is what they want to do, which will really, really lead to some serious issues in that part of Europe. So what they want to do basically is they want to also impact the currency in Hungary by sort of even undervalue it for some reason, somehow to create the economic nightmare that will really turn the Hungarian people against the government, is the chaos. So this way the European Union will come in and say, oh yeah, we can help you. Oh, you are an EU member, we will help you. But of course, if they do that, they're going to say to the Hungarian people, see why you need to be part of the European Union, because we can come help you. They'll create the problem and try to solve it per se. So, and this is just because Viktor Orban said no to agreeing to the 50 billion euros that is going to Ukraine. He just said no, because I'm going to benefit my country, because that money is going to be taken away from the programs that the EU is supposed to provide for Hungary and other European countries. So and this is where I'm saying, yeah, they want to blackmail it by design. But we're going to have to ask the question, who's really behind this? And I will not shy away from saying it's my country that is behind it. Let's pressure Europe. You pressure Europe through Germany and through France, the key players. Okay, those are the things. You pressure the EU members through Ursula, because she's the head of the parliament, even though she's not elected by the people, by the way. She's not. And here is the thing. This is why I believe what the European Union wants to do, when I see European Unions, I'm referring to France and Germany. That's the only thing. Italy is useless. Italy has the geography and so forth, but it's useless. It's those two countries, Germany and France. So, but collectively we said the EU. So what they want to do, basically, is they are now in process. This is why it leaked. They are in process of putting that strategy into application. And what is that strategy consist of? It consists of targeting Hungary's economy. How would you target that one? You target the weak spots of the economy. One of them has to do with the currency. Look what's going on in Egypt right now. Egypt. If anybody of you following what's going on, Egypt is going down economically. You know why? Because we are limiting the amount of dollars in their economy. But the Europeans is approaching this slightly different, because they don't want to draw too much attention to how weak the European Union economy is. They want to target just the Hungarian by undermining confidence. This is what's at the heart of it. And it is my belief, and again, my opinion, Viktor Orban will have to think, it is now or never. You either have to make a decision and say, I'm cutting off all the ties. Of course, you can't leave the EU tomorrow. There's a procedure you go through. Same thing that the UK went through. If that is what the Hungary wants to do. Which to me, in my opinion, as geopolitical analyst, I'm thinking in terms of what's going on in other parts in Europe, which I will detail on the next platform. So it behoves Budapest to be thinking strategically down the road. Hungary will have another option. What is the other option? Can any of you guess what other option Hungary had? Let me just see. Just think outside the box, guys. Think outside the box. What do you think? Another alternative that could work in favor of Hungary, should they decide to ditch. You got it, Taiwan Strait. You got it. BRICS. Oh, there's a fly here. How did fly get here? Not a fly, whatever that big thing is. Anyway, live and let live. Let it be. You're absolutely correct. BRICS. The location, the geography. This is why, for example, Poland shot itself in the foot, because BRICS, there were some conversations, not BRICS, I'm sorry, not BRICS, the BRI, there were some conversations back then. But Poland ended up following under the orders of the US, shooting themselves in the foot. As a matter of fact, one of their former generals came forward now and saying how much corruption, all the money that's been sent to Ukraine, it's not even there. Hoshia, Italy too. You're right. Italy is another vassal state anyway. It's weak. So you guys got it. The BRICS will be another alternative for Hungary. But again, Hungary has to think long term. He can even engage directly with China. What's going to prevent Hungary from doing that? It's a sovereign nation. They can trade with whomever they want. And if they're worrying about the euro currency, ditch the whole currency and trade with China in the Chinese yuan, or come up with some other alternative. So the options are there for Hungary. It just needs to be decisive. And believe me when I say this, if and when Hungary does that, you're going to see other nations taking notice. Those countries might not be influential, but their location will allow them to say, hey, we don't want to be under the thumb of the EU or the US for that matter. Because this whole thing, what is it about? It's about keeping the European economy down. So the Europe can always depend on America. And this is now why you're seeing what's taking place in France and Germany. And that's what I intend to address on the next location. I'm going to head out over there. Don't go yet, guys. Let me share the screen with you for the link where I'm going to be. And I'm going to type it again quickly here for you to have an idea what I'm going to be. I want to say one more time about the. Let me type it in the chat box for you. And please keep your LMC. Good to see you. Please keep your questions and just bring them over the other location. Tony, good to see you, Tony. Ma Julie, good to see you. By the way, guys, just to remind you, for those who might have missed what I said earlier, please hold your donations for my Asia trip. Hold it, because I got to figure out now why aren't they meaning Buy Me Coffee, approving my second account. I have two accounts, one of them for the YouTube channel, and this one specifically for the trip. I wrote the description on it, so it's not their damn business to decide for me where I'm going or why I need this. All I know is I'm doing it legally. I ain't their business. If they don't like it, they can tell me and say, I'll say thank you. I don't want to use this, use your platform for this. And I suspected this at the beginning, because this is why I didn't want to go with GoFundMe. You know why? Because the moment I will mention my trip to Asia, they're going to be thinking, oh, he's going to probably disclose the disparity that exists between where Asia is and the US today. I am not judging them yet. I'm holding my judgment. Buy Me Coffee has been good to me the first time I opened the first account. Maybe they are busy. Maybe, whatever. I don't know. I'm giving them a chance for another probably 5 days. And we'll see what happens. If not, I might end up having to reach out to a lawyer. Then we'll see where things go. But so far, no issue with my geopolitical trends account. Still, some of you buys me coffee over there. It's no issue whatsoever. Maybe just a delay. I don't want to. It's just for now, guys. I want you to hold your donations for the Asia trip till I give you the green light. So, all right, guys. I will see you on the other location. Okay, within probably 5-10 minutes. All right, guys. As always, remember, geopolitics impact your daily life in more ways than one. See you soon. Bye-bye.